Hi, how's it going? I really need to clear out whatever that was. I wanted to say sorry. It's been like a whole year since my last actual video, so I'm coming back, I guess. Or I'm gonna try to stay consistent at some point, but I need to like slow down on that consistency because I feel like once a week what I did before was kind of like overwhelming. I feel like I need to like brush up on my new advice for modeling. Because I get asked this still. I still have new models that like to come to my DMs and ask me about a lot of different things, or I have photographers that send new models over to me and then ask me questions. And I just put it in one quick video so that everything's on the table for now. And if you guys have any other questions, seriously put them in the comments below or like DM me on any of my social media, like at all. I have a lot of people come to me for a lot of different like reasons. I don't know. I guess I'm a 25-year-old that like has lived a long life full of a lot of things, so I guess I have a lot of knowledge, but I'm still learning is another thing too. When it comes to modeling, I've been doing it for 4 years, mostly just freelance, so I was worried about like what I meant to be with the agency and stuff like that. I'll leave that to another video about agencies though, because I just want to get to it. I actually had to take notes so that I could stay on topic because I realize I ramble a lot. So I got this pen in my hand. First question everyone asks is like, how do I start? I want to say the first way for you to start is look up inspiration. What do you want to do? What do you want to wear? All this other stuff. Like, look up what other people have to show and be like, oh, I could do that. I would love to do that. Definitely, like, know what you're going for because as soon as you get with the photographer, they're gonna be like, yeah, what concepts do you have? And you're gonna be like, so Pinterest. Pinterest is my number one place to go. Pinterest, next one is gonna be Instagram. But Pinterest is like, all knowing, like, photo app, so you could look up different kinds of photography and see which one is more of your niche. So there's like fashion photography, there's lifestyle photography, commercial photography, like a list goes on and on and on. You could also just like go on Google and see what kind of photography there is, and then there'll be like blogs with examples. I can make a blog. I'm not, maybe. Um, and see which one that you would rather see yourself in. A lot of people go towards more of the fashion photography, and a lot of people like to try to go towards runway. That's more events. You need to get there with time. Either way, that's how you start. Find your inspiration. For real. And then where do you look to start? Like, how do you actually step into it? I always recommend everyone, if you have a Facebook, go to Facebook groups and look up photography or like TFP, which means trade to print, like photography pages for like your location, like your state or anything like that. Because some photographers will end up like traveling to you. So on Facebook, there's plenty of groups in a bunch of different locations, probably in every single state, that has models and photographer groups where everyone just gets together and they just work together. And it's a great way to start. So when it comes to what photos you want to actually get started with to build a portfolio, if you're very serious about this, you would want to, for example, look up some models that you look up to, or go onto any agency page, look at what they actually have there, like what models that look like you have on their portfolio, and try to emulate that in your own authentic way. That's the best advice I have, because if you want to eventually get with the agency, you're going to have a broad portfolio to be able to get jobs, and that is very important. But in these groups, you could look up just like the photographers groups and stuff like that. They could have their rates on there and everything like that. Or you could look up TFP, the trade for print, and you can find people on there. And that's just going to be like, you trade your time, your energy, and your ideas and everything to the photographer for them to have for their portfolio as well. So it's like a trade-off essentially, because y'all work together. You as a model, photographers, best friends, like y'all work together for the same jobs for the same reasons, and you work together. Keep that in mind. But the pros and cons of TFP. So the pros of TFP is that it's free, right? You get to work with a bunch of different people. You get to help them grow along with you, which is amazing and fantastic. You could bring up concepts, all this other stuff. The biggest thing is that it's free. But the cons. So the cons is like there's so many people who prey on new models, the ones that don't have all of the, like, they don't know what's right and wrong. They're very influenced. They kind of just want to get what they want, and then these people want to take advantage of that. I have heard many horror stories of people getting taken advantage, people being put in weird and gross situations. Also, if anyone sits there and they're like, oh, you're new to modeling, let's do boudoir. Refuse to do boudoir until like a year in doing modeling, because I won't say you always will get taken advantage of. I would say you're more likely to seriously, especially if it's TFP, get taken advantage of. And you really, it's just, please be safe. Because there's so many creeps out there, and they do use photography to prey on models, especially new ones. They hop onto that. It's a scary world. And so I would always say, like, the safety aspect of being a model is definitely have someone with you that you trust go to every single shoot when you start, because these reasons. Like, you don't want to have to be like preyed upon. If a photographer says no, you can't have a +1, red flag. 100% don't work with them, or question them if you think that they are a good person, and like tell them like it's that or nothing, because you need to be careful for real. Like, I'll square up for you, because I fucking hate people who do this, and I always hear this stuff all the time. There's a lot of drama in some communities, as every community has, and you don't want to end up getting like hurt or anything like that, because like no one wants that. I'm like very anal about safety, and whenever I hear these stories, I literally get thrown into like a pit of just like, where are they? What am I gonna do? But also, I really want to help people like not get into this trouble. But like I said, for the most part, most of those experiences happen in TFP. It doesn't happen that often, or as often as you would think, but it does. And I've seen models get thrown into the industry of like just doing TFP and building their portfolio just to fall off the face of the earth, come back years later and say that they were essayed, or there was some terrible photographer that did something or threatened their lives or something. And like, it's a scary world. It is dangerous, especially if you're like in the Midwest or by the coast or anything, because human trafficking is a thing. And they also prey on young, beautiful people with aspirations. So please be safe and have somebody with you. Have something to protect yourself, like one of those little keychain thingies. I brought, like, I didn't take my advice at the beginning. I'm a very strong-willed person, and even then, I still should have had somebody with me. But I have been in situations where people kind of try to step over those bounds, and I would very strongly say no, or I would let people know, like, kind of as a joke beforehand, like, haha, I just dropped my taser in the toilet, but it still works. Know that they know that you have protection, you're no bullshit, because they, babe, seriously. And now the next thing is getting paid. So you can be paid as a freelance model. So eventually, once you start to build that portfolio, like I said, kind of get that inspiration from other models in their portfolio, and you have the experience, you know how to pose. I could do another video on that too. After that, and you've been doing it for like a year and a half, you're fluid, you don't get any instructions from like model coaches or photographers, because you're like getting there and they're giving you compliments. Always ask after after a session with the photographer, like, what could I do to improve? That's something I did for like 3 years of me doing it. Like, what could I do to improve? Just keep working on yourself, take note, and take like criticism, and like seriously build yourself up and everything. But getting paid. So there's a misconception where like people think that you should be getting paid by photographers. I could say in my experience, I've only gotten paid by, or offered to be paid by, one photographer, because they really, really wanted to work with me, and they were brand new and they didn't feel like they had the skills, and they thought they were going to be wasting my time. And I was like, no, look, it's going to be fine. You're fine. The rate was very low too. I just didn't want to, I would rather help people grow, but that's up to you. I don't want a 3-year-old toddler cough again. Oh my God. But when it comes to getting paid, the people who actually pay you, the people that are gonna actually like get you money and stuff, are brands. My first time actually getting paid a fair like rate for actually modeling, it was during COVID. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, so like Otherworld is like our Meow Wolf of Ohio, if you know what's that in Vegas and stuff, and it's like an art museum. I was, wow, working with a brand that was in my niche, which was anime at the time. I was doing cosplay, and he paid me a full rate, and he paid the photographer. Keep that in mind. Like I said, you and the photographer, y'all make money together. So the places that you actually make your money is going to be with brands. You could reach out to brands, you could pitch yourself to brands, you could see if they have influencer opportunities, anything like that. And there's even bigger brands. Like I just got a part of the Abercrombie and Fitch like creator club. Like there's so many things out there for you. And you could literally just reach out to different places and like see who does do the cold calling kind of like situation, LinkedIn, all that other stuff. Send out emails with your portfolio and say, hey, I'm very interested in working with you guys, or like small businesses love this stuff, especially small boutiques. Like just reach out. People love when people like take the reins and like have ambition and sit there and like be like, hey, yeah, this is me. I'm pitching myself. It's amazing. It's great. Make that step and literally just, you'll help a lot of local places as well. Even if you want to just do it for free for them or anything like that and just go ahead and get your name out there. But you could also pitch that you do have a rate. Put that rate down. If people reach out to you for their brands too, you could put that rate down. Also keep in mind, if you want a photographer, if it's a bigger brand that actually has the budget, you could ask for their budget. You could bring in the photographer and put in their rates as well. Whatever dream photographer you want, whatever one that you work with and you know their rates, absolutely just throw it in and be like, yeah, okay, we can knock this shoot out in like an hour 30 minutes. This is the rate of the photographer, this is the rate of the studio because I want it to be indoors, and then this is my rate, which is going to be your time, it's going to be the energy that you put into it, what clothing you might need to actually buy, it's your like experience, it's a bunch of different things, which I could also put in a different video because this is just very vague. But seriously, I would say that that's like my 5 main things I wanted to talk about with this video, especially with getting started. I know we hopped from getting started, safety and everything like that, straight to getting paid, but I feel like that's one of the biggest questions, like when do I feel like I should get paid, or like when do you think I'm good enough to be getting paid since I'm just getting started. Definitely if you're a year or a few in, but it doesn't even matter time-wise, it matters your experience. And it matters with your skills. Like seriously, you have to bring more to the table most of the time too. So, but do know your worth, but be realistic. I could go on and on about that too, and I will in a different video about like price points and how you should be able to price yourself out. I will be able to have a reference for a book that I have used for a lot of my like actual like talks about social media and influencing. But yeah, I would say that this is gonna pretty much round out the rest of this video. I have got this small little setup where I've been live streaming video games too. I just do it on my own time on Twitch, so yeah. But I am glad to be kind of back, and I might just go ahead and knock out those videos and just do it weekly. Either way, I hope this was helpful. Like I said, if you have any other questions or you want to dig deeper, I could keep on doing more questions. Just put them below in the comments. And yeah, I would see you next time, I guess.